Hello everybody, this is Lara from Pure Elliott Wave with your free daily update for Bitcoin, Ethereum and XRP. Technicals today for Bitcoin, the picture has not changed since yesterday. I am still expecting this downward trend is going to continue. I've identified next support 24,800, below that 21,500, below that really strong support actually 19,500, and below that pretty strong support also 18,500. I'm actually going to say today I expect the support at 19,500. That might be the one that holds, and we may not see lows below that, but I do expect lower lows because this sideways movement is so weak. This looks like a consolidation within an ongoing downward trend and not the start of a new upward trend. I'm going to show you how I look left to identify support and resistance. 24,800 was tested by support here, tested as resistance here, so I'm drawing that line in to touch as many highs and lows as I can. Going back further, we've got about 18,500 here, and we've got about 19,500 here. That 19,500 is really close to the high in December 2017, so I expect that very major high is going to offer really strong support. This is on balance volume. It's considered or called the granddaddy of volume indicators. It's one of my favorite indicators. You can use it in two ways. You can use it the traditional way, looking for divergence, but in my experience, it doesn't seem to work that well with divergence, but what it does do really well is forms ranges when price is consolidating, and then on balance volume will break out often prior to price breaking out. Here's a really good support line. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4 tests. It's close to horizontal and it's somewhat long held on the daily time frame. So there's some reasonable technical significance. This is the session in which it breaks out below support. This is the 15th of August. That is a couple of days before that really strong downward session we saw for the 17th of August. So this is a really nice early warning signal that I am kicking myself now. I did have this drawn, but I didn't identify that breakout. I wasn't paying attention closely enough, so I'm not going to make that mistake again. There's still a downward trend indicated for Bitcoin. RSI is still oversold, but this can remain oversold for a little while. It can move back to neutral and then exhibit bullish divergence before we see a low. The trend is not extreme, so there's still a ways to go down before this trend may be in danger territory of ending. For Ethereum, the bigger picture sees a cycle wave 1 over here in January 2018 and cycle wave 2 over here in December 2018, a 94% correction, huge bear market. Where 2 ends, 3 begins. You can't label this cycle 3 and 4 because 4 may not move in wave 1 price territory. So we move the degree of labeling down, and this is only primary 1 and 2 within cycle wave 3. So for Ethereum, this wave count's extremely bullish. I'm expecting primary 3 within cycle 3 in its relatively early stages, and it's absolutely normal for it to start out slowly. We'll expect an acceleration through the middle and an explosion at the end of primary 3. Primary 2 may not move beyond the start of primary wave 1 below 82.05. Primary 2 is already an 83% correction of primary wave 1, so it's already within a very normal depth for a cryptocurrency. I expect it's most likely that it's over there. Were it to continue further, it would be longer lasting than cycle 2, and the Elliott wave count would not have good proportion. It's the proportion between the waves that give what we call the right look to the Elliott wave count. So I'm pretty confident that this lowers in. Not 100%, none of this is 100%. On the weekly chart, we see the end of primary 2 and the start of intermediate 1 of primary 3. And on the daily chart, I'm focusing on the current structure, a minute degree second wave, subdividing as a zigzag, minuet A, expanded flat for B and C. I'm labeling that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, expecting 5 to move beyond the end of 3 and probably to find support at the lower edge of this base channel. From the weekly chart, you draw that lower edge from the start of minor 1 to the end of minor 2, extended on out. This is where I expect downward movement may very well find support. Base channels work quite often. They work more often than they fail, but they don't always work. So in the first instance, let's look for support there. And support for Ethereum I've identified by, again, looking left, 1,360. The volume profile is still bearish. Downward sessions are stronger than upward, and upward day on day declining, and then a downward session increasing. So definitely a bearish volume profile. Here's on balance volume for Ethereum, resistance, support, This was broken on the 3rd of August and Ethereum's been continuing lower, so that was an early warning of more downward movement. So it's a really nice way to use on-balance volume. Look for these consolidations, draw your support, draw your resistance, and then look for a breakout. And sometimes the breakout precedes the direction price is going to break out. That's the wonderful thing about on-balance volume when it works. Ethereum still has a downward trend. It's not yet extreme, but it is getting closer. RSI is still oversold, but this can move into neutral or not, and then we can see lower lows and we can start to see bullish divergence. So not yet the full look of a low having formed necessarily, and money flows return to neutral. The bigger picture for XRP also has cycle wave 1, cycle 2 and cycle 3 underway. For XRP, cycle wave 1 ends January 2018, cycle wave 2 ends March 2020. These don't always find their lows and highs together, so they haven't always done so in the past. We should not expect them to do so in the future. This cycle 2 lasted 2 years. It was a 96% correction of cycle wave 1, an absolutely huge long-lasting bear market. When 2 ends, 3 begins. Primary 1, primary 2, 3, 4, 5 of cycle 3 will unfold as an impulse. Primary 1 and 2 are complete, so XRP also expects prices in the early stages of a third wave at primary degree within a third wave at cycle degree. This is a very bullish wave count. I have an extremely conservative target for you here. This is a primary degree third wave within a cycle degree third wave. The probability of this primary degree third wave, if my Elliott wave count is correct with that caveat, the probability of this third wave being extended to an extreme degree is really, really high because it's such a high degree. So if 3 were to reach 4.236 length of 1, a target would be $8.10. I think that's it's probably way too short, but I like to be really conservative. If you've been watching my channel for a while now, you'll know I like to have conservative channels and I like to have conservative targets. I like to err on the side of caution because risk management is so important. So this is a stab in the dark with a rusty pitchfork to see where it might possibly end, and I think $8.10 is probably a very low ballpark figure. If primary 2 were to continue lower, it may not move beyond the start of 1 below 0.1138, but it's extremely likely to be over here. It's a 91% correction of primary wave 1 and it lasted a year, so if primary 2 were to continue further, it would be longer lasting than cycle wave 2, 1 degree higher, and again that would give the wave count the wrong look because the proportions wouldn't be good. On the weekly chart, I've changed my wave count for XRP slightly. I had 1, 2 and then a leading diagonal, but I think this fits better from this low to this high as a total leading expanding diagonal. I'll label this minor wave 1. Minor 2 may not move beyond the start of 1, below 0.2794. Here's a normal depth, so let's expect for XRP, if it is going to continue lower, and I have a question mark about this, it might have found a low, but I'm going to sit on the fence with this one. One of two scenarios, it's either going to have a little consolidation and continue on down, or it's going to have a slow start and go on up. And I'll show you on the daily chart what I'm looking for to identify which of those two scenarios is in play. Minor 2, if it does continue lower, would reach a normal depth of minor 1 between 0.40954 and 0.34447. That's 0.8 to 0.9 or 80 to 90% the depth of minor wave 1. That's a very, very normal depth for second wave corrections, even at minor degree, but particularly at higher degree for all cryptocurrencies. So on the daily chart, I've got a question mark today about, is minor wave 2 over? If it's over here, it's only 0.745, the depth of minor 1, so it's a little bit shallow. It does subdivide quite nicely as a double zigzag, but I can certainly see it continuing lower as a triple zigzag, or we could label the second zigzag A, B, C to continue lower. What I want to see to have confidence in a low for XRP is a new high by any amount at any time frame above 0.6650, because that would break the series of lower highs and lower lows. And then I want to see, well, this will come first actually, a new high or a candlestick breaking above the upper edge of this extremely conservatively drawn trend channel. I have this trend channel drawn for XRP from this low to this low with a copy on these highs up here, and it's provided resistance for this little bounce, and now price is starting to move down and away. So that trend line may continue to provide resistance, it may continue to be useful. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for your engagement. I'm really enjoying doing these daily videos. Before I go, a reminder, our new subscription on pureelliottwave.com is Gold Daily Analysis by Jack Frost with full support from me. Monday to Friday, Jack provides a full write-up with annotated charts, and on Friday, a video, and that's a full Elliott wave analysis supported by a range of classic technical analysis and supported by my 15 years experience, 10 of which is a CMT. So if you're using gold as an investment or trading vehicle, then you might want to add expert Elliott wave analysis, which has been really, really accurate lately. We've seen this price moving down. We've also anticipated a couple of the bounces along the way down, so we've been remarkably accurate with that. If you're not profiting from this move down in gold, then you should get our analysis. That's all from me. Thank you very much.